I know that could be obvious, but it's the first thing to do usually is to create digital assets that are really powerful. You are not just selling, for example, a shirt or a sweater or knitwear, whatever. You are selling an outfit. You are selling a part of the experience of touching that kind of item.
One of the hardest things to do in e-commerce is creating an online experience that truly showcases every aspect of a product. And this is especially true in the world of luxury goods, where allowing the customers to touch and feel and admire the craftsmanship of a product is key. And at the same time, they're expecting to have an indulgent in-store experience, which is tantamount to the story of the brand. Just the in-store experience can serve as the main selling point and create word of mouth like no other. Think about the stores that you walk into that have the champagne, the little appetizers, you have someone guiding you through all the products, picking out the perfect item for you. Now that's an experience. That's why I invited Fedele Sforza to the show. Throughout his career, he's been at places like Brunello Cucinelli and Boggi Milano, and has had to figure out how exactly to create a luxury e-commerce experience that matches and works in tandem with a luxury in-store experience. On this episode of Up Next in Commerce, Fedele tells us exactly how he's been able to do just that, and explains why e-commerce leaders have to be evangelists within a traditionally retail-based environment. Plus, he details how to use data and technology as a window into the needs of your different customers, which you can then leverage to create a personalized shopping experience across all the channels. So cozy up with your fanciest cashmere sweater, which I do not own yet, but someday, and enjoy this episode with Fedele Sforza. Before we dive into this episode, I was hoping you could please subscribe, rate, and review the podcast. It helps spread the word about the show, and I would really love it. So please, let me know how I'm doing and give me a rating, give me a review. Let us know. All right, enjoy the episode. Really quick, I want to say thank you to our awesome sponsor, Salesforce Commerce Cloud. And I'm going to allow them to give you the inside scoop into some of the findings from their most recent State of Commerce report.
Hi, this is John from Salesforce. Did you know that companies of all sizes and industries power their digital customer journeys with Commerce Cloud? Salesforce Commerce Cloud delivers B2B and B2C commerce, as well as order management around the globe. And with Commerce Cloud, you can engage with your customers anywhere and personalize interactions everywhere. Scale and innovate with ease and drive some serious growth for your business. And speaking of innovation, we recently surveyed nearly 1,400 commerce leaders and analyzed the consumer shopping and business buying behavior of more than 1 billion customers worldwide. And we uncovered emerging trends that will influence how companies can be successful and stay ahead in this ever-evolving landscape. To check out the trends we discovered, go to sfdc.co/commerce insights. That's sfdc.co/commerce insights, one word.
Hey there, and welcome back to Up Next in Commerce, your number one spot for all things commerce. I'm your host, Stephanie Postles, CEO at mission.org. Joining us today is Fedele Sforza, who's currently working as an e-commerce and omni-channel consultant, working for large and small companies. Fedele, welcome.
Thank you. I appreciate your introduction.
I am excited to have you on. I was actually about to name drop all the companies you've worked on e-commerce back in the day, but then I was like, I should just let you do it because I don't want to botch that. So could you walk through, the places you've been and how you've got to where you are now?
Yes. Since I started, I've worked for fashion companies in Italy where, as well, that we have a lot of them. I started with the company which was in the denim. It's called the Donda. And then I worked for Brunello Cucinelli, which is a big company already known all around the world for its craftsmanship. It's a luxury brand. There I worked in terms of creating digitalization in the company. Not just e-commerce, not just the website, but also creating a sort of an experience of luxury, which is the most difficult thing usually. When you have the possibility to create an upper level experience, you are doing well. It's always difficult to communicate a product like that with that price point. And with all the technologies that we had, we did quite good. trying also to personalize in an artisanal way, which is something a little bit different from a lot of companies now. Well, I did a rollout also of the entire e-commerce worldwide using Salesforce Commerce in that case. And we connected also the part of the service and the marketing cloud for the automations. There we had also the part of omni-channel, which means in that case, return in store, pick up in store, and all these kind of activities. I worked for Aspesi, which is a small company, medium. Core business was the outerwear, but premium luxury outerwear. The company was starting to adapt themselves to the commerce, so selling online, e-commerce. In that case, I had the opportunity to create a sort of alignment with also all the marketplaces, like, for example, Farfetch and also some other retailer online, which is the most difficult thing when you would like to find a balance between your direct to consumer sell and the other kind of selling, like from marketplaces and direct to consumer retail as well. And then I went to Boggi, Milano. For me, it was a good opportunity to experience very well the omni-channel part. Boggi is 200 stores around the world. Great thing was trying to connect a single view of the customer in order to give the same experience everywhere. And having the possibility to use all the digital platform that we had was very good for me. I think that was a great experience in order to understand how to create a loop in the journey of the customer. And that's Boggi Milan. And then I decided again to jump from the plane. I take the opportunity to move by myself after a while because I had a lot of requests from companies to help them to create a sort of next level image online and giving them the possibility to create their business online, which is something especially for startup that is seems difficult, but after a while from startup is sometimes better also than working in a complex ecosystem. It's starting from the scratch.
Yeah.
So, and now here I am.
That's awesome. I mean, obviously you've had a ton of experience. I want to hear a bit about how, like, what the landscape looks like in Italy when it comes to e-commerce, because a lot of these companies you've worked for, I mean, Boggi Milano, I think, has been in business since 1939. Like, you're tackling companies have been around for a long time, probably have certain things set a certain way. Like, what does the e-commerce landscape look like in Italy, where maybe it's different kind of challenges than what we would see in the US?
I think that Italy is now getting faster on the road of innovation. I think pushed from this situation probably. What I saw is that usually you arrive in companies, especially in the clothing companies, where there are already some systems that you should try to adapt in a sort of, let's say, your way to work with that kind of processes. In this way, I think that now people understood the importance of the e-commerce and not just like a window, because that's something very old, but like something that it's a sort of place where you see all the results of the work of the entire company. I think it's not just part of the brand image, but also of the strategy of a brand, the positioning, etc. Usually, especially in the companies where you find a lot of craftsmanship, you need to adapt the experience that you have online. And especially in companies that are in the luxury, you need to show to the customer that part of the experience. Especially in the image online, sometimes you are struggling.
Yeah.
And in this case, you try to find the way to adapt the model that, for example, store manager are using into the stores, for example, which is something that is trying to do storytelling. And it's something that you bring also online, not just putting some contents into the online store or the website, but also understanding if maybe you can also try to personalize each kind of content for each kind of customer. For example, I had the opportunity to, especially in the last year, to use content specific for cross-selling. When you know already that the customer is more into, let's say, trousers, it's better if you stop communicate them shirts, for example. Maybe they already have a shirt, no? And in that case, you can use the marketing automation to trigger some email directly, for example, to them. Maybe you understand that, for example, that they don't like to receive email. Maybe you use another channel, like could be another channel in advertising, or could be,
Texting.
for example, texting. Or maybe I think the next level will be something that is more direct, because especially in the luxury stores, usually each store manager has his panel of customers, no? And the same way, if you imagine e-commerce like someone that is an e-commerce manager, like someone that is managing customer in terms of information, and maybe helping them directly finding something that they really want, not pushing just them with email. We receive already tons of email, no? It's better to find a personalized way. For example, in this case, an idea could be live shopping, for example, personal shopping, which is something very interesting that probably everybody will adopt in the future, probably.
Yep. So the one thing I want to kind of circle back to is around selling luxury goods, because we haven't talked too much about that on the show. And I want to hear, how you approach that from an e-commerce perspective and how you actually showcase luxury. Like, what are you doing when it comes to the e-commerce presence? And maybe what things are you pulling from retail that kind of support that, or lessons that you're pulling into e-commerce to show that this is a high value item, it's worth the money, here's why?
Well, the first thing that I know that could be obvious, but is the first thing to do usually is to create digital assets that are really powerful. For example, in one case, in Brunello Cucinelli, if you go to the website, you can see that the images on the product are very well done. They are not just normal images like, for example, could be in a normal platform that you find online everywhere. They are trying to give the perception of the product, the quality of the product, for example. And especially for a product that is maybe more than 1,000 euro, let's say, it's important to understand the feeling. Another thing that is related to the image of the brand in this case is also the lifestyle. So you are not just selling, for example, a shirt or a sweater or knitwear, whatever. You are selling an outfit. You are selling a part of the experience of touching that kind of item. And usually with this part of the image, you help the customer following them through the services that you have the possibility to contact them. For example, understanding what kind of item they like more, and maybe during the session of purchasing, following them through a chat, for example, that could be interesting. Understanding the pages that they are maybe not browsing and maybe skipping, and understanding better when they talk. So I think one part of this could be the conversational part also, if we want to resume it. And this will be something that will be stronger and stronger probably in the future. This is something that usually helps a lot, like storytelling directly, which is live. And not just that, because I think that also the possibility to give the emotion of someone that is talking to you, that's something also important. You see mainly in the websites that you can browse, people that maybe they are going around without maybe purchasing, just browsing. The most effective thing that I used usually was putting a conversational chat, could be, for example, that maybe as a triggeration means that, for example, understand that you are in the product page that you would like to, the product that you would like to buy. And maybe in that case, we enter an agent that could be not just a service agent, but a personal shopper, which is something that knows the product, for example, and could tell you something more, not just giving you information about shipping or returns, something more that is related to the product specific.
I was just going to ask about that I could see, for a luxury brand, like you can't just put bots and, conversational bots on the website. People going there are probably looking for, that in-person curated experience that they would experience when going, into a retail location of maybe a Boggi Milano. So how do you think about having customer service on the website that kind of replicates it to where, something that they would experience when they go into the store as well?
Probably will be a sort of mix of the two things. Probably one of the things in the future that we will see is that probably people in the stores will help the selling online. Let's imagine how is in a technical way could be a chart that is popping up, and when this triggeration knows that probably there is a person that is a hot lead. In that case, maybe there will be someone in the store that knows that this is the customer, maybe logged in. And in that case, there will be one person that in the store is using, an iPad or maybe a smartphone, whatever, understanding the customer and giving him all the information that he needs about the product, for example. So there will be a sort of also optimization of the people that are sale agent or people that are selling into the stores, for example, merging all the information about the product and the information about the customer in this case. Regarding this typing of selling was called before showrooming or something like that. Well, I think that more and more will be applied to all the kind of customer. The most difficult thing is also approaching, for example, to a kind of customer that is not digitalized. Well, in this case, maybe the best thing is trying to contact the customer, helping them maybe to book an appointment and giving the possibility to go into the store, and maybe after that trying to give them the possibility to try the selling online, because one of the things that probably we will see in the future is also the fact that stores should not be anymore warehouses, not just warehouses, but could be a source of experience point. And in this case, you will merge probably what you have online with the offline.
How are you advising brands to do that now, especially when maybe things are starting to kind of open back up? I mean, I know you're talking about having these pop-up shops and maybe like a guide shop you can go in and try stuff on, but what are you advising around like how to think about it over the next year or two of what's going to work?
Talking about this part and what I was saying, for example, one of the struggling point is, for example, the warehouse that should be all around. I mean, you cannot have just one store with this item. Probably in the future, it will be a warehouse that will be hybrid, let's say fluid, where all the customer could see online what they have, probably also into the store. For example, one thing that could be, and I experienced that it's very helpful into the store, is having, for example, an iPad with the entire catalog, let's say a replication of the e-commerce somehow. And in this way, selling what you have not in the store, but selling what you have into the online warehouse. Online means everywhere, probably. And I think that the best thing is not having a stock that is stopped in one store, but a stock that is moving from one to the other store in order to have the longer possible SKU numbers in terms of stock options. I think that another thing is the training of people into the stores, for example, giving them the possibility to understand that behind the digitalization, there is not the cannibalization of the store. There is something that could be another way to sell something that you probably don't have in the store, no? And it's another way to, let's say something that could be become a sale agent 3.0 or 4.0. I don't know how many numbers we are having now. So helping them to become more tech advanced, especially in Italy. When you go in the store, maybe you see people that are too much connected with the store, with what they have into the store, but they are not thinking that maybe they could understand if a customer is a loyal customer, what kind of item he bought, what kind of size preferences he has. It's something that is happening already probably into some online stores, but not yet in everywhere. One thing that I will see as a next trend will be something, sorry if I say the name, is a digitalization, when the store become digital. And especially in Italy, I saw a couple of stores that are starting to become more and more like that. It's like Adidas and Nike, for example. They are using a lot of part of NFT, virtual reality, and all these kind of aspects that will be helpful for each person that is going into the store. I mean, there are a lot of possibilities now. I think that our role is to help brands to start to approve this kind of digital assets and putting in the store to give an extra experience. No?
Yeah, I was just going to say that it seems like, especially for luxury brands, figuring out what kind of experience your customer wants and what's going to draw them in. I mean, I'm even thinking back in my California days, there was this one little strip. It was like a street and all the shops opened up and they all had wine. So of course I'm going to be there, and appetizers. And I remember the different kind of events, like some of them had bands, and it was all very unique depending on what the items were and what they were selling. But it left a really good impression. And every year I'm like, oh, I need to go back there. I forget what it's called, like whatever the name is. But I would go back there because of that experience and then have, really good brand awareness later on of like, oh, that was the one that had the really good cheese board and wine and had, the band playing or whatever it was. How do you think about luxury brands creating events like that and experiences that match what their customers want, or maybe creating partnerships that they weren't doing before this?
I think that one part of this kind of assets that we are still exploring is the content personalization. Actually, I didn't see yet, for example, a website that is adapting to what you really would like to see. And when you had your experience, for example, it's like, for me, I like wine too. When I go into my store, they know already that I like, for example, strong wine, something 14 degree with full body. And the sales assistant knows already that probably I don't like some other kind of wines. Well, this is something that probably in the retail is working, and the retail will having extra information with the data through the iPad or whatever. Already there are in place this kind of things. The good opportunity for the stores online is the fact that they have data probably, and they maybe just need to convince a little bit more to have a navigation logged, for example. They are not yet adapting the experience of browsing into the store to the personal, with the content personalized, for each one. I think that the next big thing is this one. And not just the content that are, let's say, set with some rules already preset, but something that works with artificial intelligence, for example. There are already in place some tools and platforms that are working in this way. Well, I talk about Salesforce because it was one of my experience.
Yeah, tell me a bit more. Tell me more about that.
Well, already has data about the navigation, already has data about the content that the customer would like to see, and the content that is skipped. Already has data regarding the purchasing, already has all the information. What you need to adapt is the system behind, in front end and back end as well, that create this kind of experience that is unique for you. removing all the other information that probably and images, product, whatever that probably that customer doesn't want in general. This is also very powerful, because think about the conversion rate optimization. What is the most the higher probably way to create a better conversions? Removing all the friction, removing all the aspects that the customer doesn't want. So all this information already exists. I think we are still missing the real personalization of the contents, and there are still people probably that they don't like. They want just to browse. There are stores that are full of these non-personalization possibilities. So there is place for everyone probably.
Yeah. So tell me, I don't know much. I mean, I know Salesforce Commerce Cloud has Einstein, but tell me about like when you were thinking about implementing AI, especially for a company with maybe quite a few products. Like, what did that look like? Like, what were you trying to solve? And then what did the process look like to actually get that going? And then what kind of results did you see? Kind of like a mini case study.
I think that, for example, in case of Salesforce, let's think about one possibility, which is sorting rule of the product, of prediction of the you may like this. Usually when you go in the website and you see you may like this, usually it's not something that you like.
Yeah, you're like, no, I'm good. Actually, I don't need a toothbrush along with my t-shirt.
Yeah, I think that's two parts of the possibility of content personalization are in a specific way in the products. You have all the data that helps you, for example, to understanding what kind of item could like this person, for example. And in that case, you can really give you a personalized content that you could like. But not just that, because it's not just into the website. Also connecting, for example, the marketing automation, let's say also, for example, Marketing Cloud in this case, could give you the possibility to send email, for example, which is the channel that we all use, sometimes we abuse, but more personalized, not just pushing any item. Now, you find the new collection. Okay, could be better to say, in the new collection, there are the items that you always look for. It's this. And maybe, oh, wow, you understand that it's this. Okay, not enough. You can connect also the automation to, for example, advertising with the personalized content. I had the opportunity to see some tools like, for example, I don't want to say the name, but there are some tools that are working very well already with the banner personalized into the content. So they personalize the image and also the tone of voice and also the copywriting in a banner. So
wow,
means that
that's cool.
Yeah, means that you can see really, for example, I saw some luxury brand that they use an impersonal form to talk with people. Maybe sometimes they could understand that a personal form in A/B testing could be better. In this way, maybe they could perform this kind of A/B testing using personalized content, like, for example, in the banner and whatever. So there are already this kind of aspects, and it could be very good. Another point that we saw before, for example, could be the fact that maybe this person is browsing every day because at the moment stores are closed. It's browsing every day and probably is really interested in one item. Could be good, maybe if you try to maybe push one of the sale agent to talk with him if he knows him and understand in some way if he needs an help buying online, for example, or maybe you could buy, convincing him, you could buy, maybe you can also return, or maybe you take it and when we reopen the store, you come back to the store and you try the other sides, whatever. So there are already this touch point. Important for each company is to put all together these touch points.
Yep.
Because sometimes in my experience, I found a universe when you arrive. So data everywhere.
I was just going to say that a lot of companies we've talked to, it does feel like things aren't very connected. And I mean, how you're saying, okay, you take Salesforce Commerce Cloud, then you plug in their Einstein, then you plug in Marketing Cloud, and you've got this whole suite where the data is all talking to each other, informing ad campaigns and marketing campaigns, and it all works together. But a lot of companies we talk to, like you said, it's a universe, and marketing team's not talking to the tech team who's doing the e-commerce implementation, who's not talking to the ads team. And it definitely seems like there's a lot of room over the next year or two to kind of bring everything together and maybe reduce the tech stack so that it's more uniform and connected than trying out all these like one-off tools here and there that create individual databases that are hard to tap into.
Yes, I think that as I told you before, our role sometimes is to being evangelist into the company, and really sometimes is also our human part of being mediator in all the roles. One of the difficulties that I found in my previous experience is also, for example, talking with the production department or maybe talking with the retail department. Sometimes, especially for the e-commerce, we were seen like we are against the retail. Now that they understood that we are servicing also them because we are the biggest window, if we think about a website, they are understanding that we could also collaborate in somehow. For example, some data that we are collecting, they could be helpful also for the production team, for example. Sometimes they come to us and they tell us how many views, for example, has this product, okay, to understand how many returns we had with this item. We had too many, okay, maybe next season we don't do this. And this will adapt also the model of a production system, which is something very powerful, actually. So we are a sort of a mediator sometimes because we are in this. And when I talked about the digital mindset, is something that would be really helpful. So also for the human resources, starting to find people that are really mediator, but also they are innovator, I think, somehow. And also in a little part, also a little digital specialist or whatever, but at least they know what they are doing. And this is something that is happening now. We are forced to stay at home and we use a lot of technologies, devices. Maybe my father now is more evolved than me, probably somehow, when he was condemning me about staying a lot on the computer, but now he's working more than me. And so he's using digital more than me sometimes.
It's a fast changing world. A lot of people are jumping on that maybe wouldn't have otherwise. I mean, the one thing that I have started to think about is because things are moving so quick and we're all, at home and behind screens, I think there's an area where we can kind of lose touch with the human experience and, what people are seeking when they go to a retail store. I'm even thinking about when you were saying about how someone's browsing every day on the website and maybe a customer service person should reach out. But imagine if you take it a step further and you come back the next day and it's the same one. Like, oh, Stephanie's here again. Hey, welcome back. Like, any new questions today? I know we talked about this yesterday, but thinking about like, why do you go into retail? Sometimes it's fun to see the same person, where they have context with you, where they know what you maybe already bought in a more personal way. Same coffee shop person where it's like, that's my girl. She always knows how to make my coffee. But thinking about how to bring those kind of experiences online, I think is something that's maybe been missed because we've all been, behind screens and not as much in-person interactions where we're kind of forgetting, like, what do we seek when we go in person and want to go into a store and meet someone and talk to them?
I think that I did the thesis on my master of degree that was regarding social media in this case, social media relationships that matter. I think that the point is really knowing the customer. We think about back in the years, we started to talk about not anymore the brand at the center, but the customer at the center. I think that we like to put the customer at the center, but at the same time, we like to put, especially in the fashion, sometimes to put the brand image of the brand at the center, and then the customer. I think this way we need to put again the customer at the center, understanding whatever he likes, and creating this better relationship with them. What you told is something that is really important, especially considering what is happening in the stores. I think probably the other point is not creating a service team, but a personal assistant team. So people that they really have is happening in the stores, having a portfolio of customers where they really study the customers. Because also in my experience, especially in the startup, I start really looking at each order that is coming from each person that is coming to understand what they do, what they like. And this is good for me because it helps me to understand where I should improve something, for example, and how maybe I could talk with them. What is the tone of voice? What kind of aspects I should touch when I talk with them? And this is something that is not just segmentation, but this is something that is more related to fluidify the relationship that you have. In the past, I think we had too many silos behind one cluster and another cluster, etc. Now I think that with the artificial intelligence, we have more possibility to predict some kind of aspects regarding the customer and doing some actions that are really being connected with him. I see one thing that could be strange in one of my previous companies. For example, we used to try to do some kind of upselling, writing after looking at the order, understanding that we are, for example, sending an email with the follow-up. So we are preparing your order. We saw that you bought this and this. We would like to thank you, blah, blah, blah. And we would like to suggest this kind of matching. And it's also written and written sometimes, whatever it is. And giving him also the possibility to, for example, see the outfit preview through the email, for example, whatever it is. Usually it happens that the customer starts to understand that you really are focused on him. It just, he didn't not just buy online an item. He bought something that could be something that is an experience personalized. And
I like that. I don't think I've ever had an email, at least from where I buy. Maybe I don't buy enough luxury things. I definitely don't. But maybe that's why I haven't seen that, where it's like, oh, you bought this, shirt. Here's a pair of pants that go well with it and shoes. Like I've never seen that level of personalization, which I actually think would be helpful instead of just, oh, hey, Stephanie, I'm going to personalize your name and like what you bought, going that extra level to be like, here's how to complete the outfit, or here's how to, actually wear it, or, what to do with it.
Yes.
I don't know. That's way, way different.
It's a sort of personal shopping. It means that you should have people that really knows the product, knows the collection, knows everything of that. And you need also a sort of human touch to understand also for who you can do that or not.
And not making it just be the stock image that was on the website. Like if there's already an outfit, I don't want to see that one. I want to see something that feels like it's custom to me and not just what the model was wearing. Because if I wanted that, I would have bought it at the time.
Also, this was personalized in one case. For example, taking a picture from the showroom, we had the possibility to stay in the showroom where we have all the items of the collection that we are putting online, for example, and matching directly and taking a picture and sending, for example, through the email. And then in the follow-up, you can also write manually. Sometimes it's also nice, especially in when we complete the order, we were putting something at written. And it's more personalized, I think. Well, I think that this part of personalization that is transmitting something that is not just technology is very important for the luxury and especially for the fashion, etc.
Yep. We had on a company called Handwritten, spelled with a Y instead of an I. And it was interesting hearing about the level of increased conversions with handwritten notes and, coming from the brand. And it's, I think especially important for luxury. But then I also wonder, is everyone going to start getting handwritten notes because now it's easier to get those digitized and look handwritten, and maybe it's not going to be something that people want anymore? I don't know. Like it feels like if you abuse something too much, people get used to, okay, now everyone can get handwritten letters done for them and it looks like writing, and now maybe, it's saturated the market in a way that customers don't want that anymore. So it feels like a really quickly evolving area, but maybe still an opportunity there.
And think about also the reduction, for example, of spamming,
Yeah.
which is something that is a part in this case.
Mm-hmm.
You increase the conversion rate, but you decrease also the losing time in doing things that probably are not working. We have a KPI, so we know already that there are some people that really don't take care about emails anymore. So
Mm-hmm.
it's something that maybe we should understand if there is another channel, and then maybe this channel could be also sometimes also a postcard.
Yeah. Are you experimenting with any new channels right now with some of the startups and larger companies that you're advising?
Well, I would like to, for example, in one kind of brands I'm working with, which is wine, is a winery.
Perfect.
I would like to give the possibility to have an extra assistant, which is, for example, a sommelier apporté,
Mm-hmm.
which is someone that is giving you really a possibility to choose the right wine for you
Mm-hmm.
for the right moment. And maybe connecting the loop, because, for example, they offer also the part of wine tasting in the winery,
Mm-hmm.
but maybe at this point you cannot do. And I think that giving the possibility to, for example, give an experience that could be live, the first step, it's important, but also with this kind of, the video, talking directly with the person could be helpful. And then in the next touch point, maybe also creating a sort of a relationship between the two.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a part that I'm working with. Well, I think that especially in the items that I'm working now, I work with another company which is a small startup, but is innovating a lot. We are doing spirits, totally uncommon, which is made by selvatic plants, for example, botanical.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very difficult to communicate to the customer the differences between, for example, a gin that is industrial and a gin that is more artisanal, for example,
Yeah.
or a soda that is more artisanal. Especially when I felt when I talk with people and I explain sometimes when I had the opportunity to, for example, give the possibility to try them live, I saw that they really experience more and more, and they buy directly. Also, some friends, that
Yeah.
is, okay, no, they will never buy. No, when they experience, they understand that there is something good behind, and the storytelling helps a lot in this case.
Yeah.
So it's something that helps.
I like that. So I had a really good wine experience last night. Now that we're on the wine topic, have you ever heard of this wine called 19 Crimes?
90 crimes. No,
So
I will check it.
everyone on the show always talks about, you can't just put technology on something. You don't want to just apply the newest and greatest things. Like, why do you need VR and AR right now? And everyone always says that. But last night, I got these 2 wine bottles, 19 Crimes. I bought it because it had Snoop Dogg on the label. I didn't know why. I was just like, one had Snoop Dogg on it and one had some very old-timey figure on it. I was like, great. I mean, apparently these were criminals. That's why they're on this wine called 19 Crimes. And this wine company has an AR app, an augmented reality app. And you hold your phone over top of the wine label, and then the figure jumps onto your table and starts making this whole scene about why this guy is a criminal, what he did. And it's just this whole world on your table. And he gets pushed into the wine bottle. And it was amazing. It was like such a cool experience, such a conversation starter. Even people in my house who don't drink wine, like my mother-in-law, wanted to come look at it, see what was happening. She wanted to watch Snoop Dogg talking, which I'm like, do you even know who he is? Like, I don't know what he's about to say. You might want to cover your ears. But it was a really, really cool experience. And it kind of made me think a little bit differently about, where technology can be applied to create an experience like that you're going to talk about. I mean, now I want to go back and buy all of the wine bottles that this brand 19 Crimes has, because I'm like, I want to see all the stories and what kind of AR experience they've built around this. It was awesome. Everyone should go check it out.
Well, I think that this is important for the future, especially in the everywhere world. In terms of you were experiencing something that was online at your home, but could be in the store, could be everywhere. And most important part now that we need to understand that people are really everywhere and they don't want to talk about anymore channels, for example. But you need to understand where they would like to, for example, have that kind of experience. Could be a virtual reality, whatever, but it's something that is connecting in the same moment where they are really, they really would like to buy something, for example, or maybe know something, which is super important for me.
Oh, I like that. It's not all about the channels. You have to think about where your customer's enjoying it. And like you said, I don't want to be on social media. I don't want to be posting pictures on social media. It's like if you're having wine with your family or friends or whatever, you kind of want to be present there and only take out your phone if it's for maybe something that you can share together and not just be like staring down at your phone and being a hermit, which sometimes I do that too. But
yeah, also this point of the digital detox, let's say something like that. That could be something that is not just one person that is looking at his phone, because probably we did in this last year, will be important in the future. What you told is nice, because you share something that you saw, not someone that is by himself watching something, but sharing. And this is also a way to network the product, for example, in this case, watching on the side of the marketer. Sorry if I go back also on that. I think that we are starting to find this kind of new elements, but will be something that we will approach in the immediate future.
Yep. Yeah, I completely agree. All right, Fedele, well, we have a couple minutes left, and I want to make sure we don't miss the lightning round. The lightning round is brought to you by our friends at Salesforce Commerce Cloud. This is where I ask a question and you have a minute or less, 1 minute or less to answer. Are you ready?
No, I'm not ready.
Oh, you're not ready? All right, take a few deep breaths, shake it out a bit. All right, we'll do the hardest one first and then it'll be fun ones after. Okay, what one thing will have the biggest impact on e-commerce in the next year?
I think that in the future, there will be more and more personalization, and we need to understand where are we and where we could go with our product, and stopping pushing people with just emails or whatever, and understanding really what is behind each customer, and adapting each content to each customer on the channel that is wherever it is. So everywhere channel I would like to talk about.
Yep.
And I think that data and blockchain also will be also the next big thing. And especially in a loyalty process will be something that could be really interesting to be early adopter, probably.
Oh, that's a good one. I need to bring on a blockchain expert for retail and e-commerce.
Sure.
That'd be a good one.
Sure. I'm working with one of the company on something regarding the blockchain, and I'm experiencing something that could be really interesting. Especially, for example, we talked about the wine on a loyal system that is with a blockchain model adapted to it, and it's super interesting. I think that somehow there's still someone that is not pushing. Probably there is an economic model that we are touching.
Yeah,
we need gloves to touch it, but I think that will be the next big thing as well.
Yep, I agree. I'm a big blockchain advocate. So you advise all these companies. You've worked at a ton of companies over the past decade or more. How do you stay on top of e-commerce? What are you reading? What newsletters are you subscribed to? Like, how do you stay on top of the industry?
I like to browse in general. I like a lot when I see content written by people that are expert in the topic. And for example, I have many possibility to look around online. Medium, for example, is one of the platforms that I like because usually I find some genuine content and also well written for me. In the fashion, there are many others. I always like, for example, Business of Fashion, which is a website super powerful. They do an annual report with all the information, and I like also to understand what is the next trend on, for example, in this case, on fashion, technology, and whatever. Well, now I'm focusing more on the sustainability, to be honest, not just for the greenwashing, because it's not at all. I think these are mainly the way that I find out. And I experienced also somehow in my case, I use a lot Spotify. And I like podcasts through Spotify to listening maybe when I'm doing something else. And I like to understand. And one way that I use also is students in my courses at the university, because they are really somehow asking you something that is the next thing, what is, And sometimes I use the dialogue with them. So also networking directly with people will be also one good thing.
Oh, I like all those. So that brings me to my next question then. You're a professor, like you just mentioned. What is one of the, your favorite lesson that you're teaching your students?
Usually in my case, they like to understand more about online experience in general, and understanding more, like you asked before, how you sell luxury online, for example, and how you can transmit artisanal perception of an item online. For me, these are the part. And now, usually they are really focused on the digital, because I usually teach in a university that is in the Polydesign, which is a design university. And they are really focused on the understanding what will be the store of the future, for example. So giving all the dots to connect, it's a good thing.
That's awesome. Well, Fedele, it's been awesome having you on. I've loved learning about the world of luxury and omni-channel and everything else. Where can people find out more about you and your work?
So you can find me in LinkedIn and Instagram if you like pictures, because I like to take photos. You can find the brands I'm working with, which is like, for example, selvatic.com, and there are many others. I'm online, so you find me with my name and surname, usually Fedele Sforza. Thank you very much. For me, it was really nice to talk with you, especially crossing the idea between US and Italy, and giving the next big trend the possibility to go up.
Yep. Yeah, I've loved having you on. It's been a blast.
Thank you very much.
Hey listeners, thanks for tuning into this episode. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. If you haven't already, please subscribe, rate, and review this podcast. It helps spread the word, and I would greatly appreciate it. See you next time.
Up Next in Commerce is brought to you by Salesforce Commerce Cloud and created by the team at mission.org. Subscribe now at Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen to podcasts.